All right, Shalom. We want to start off first by giving all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Ha'adash, and double honor to our elders and apostles, upgrade and also our masters who rule well in this time, and peace and blessings to the elect, also including the confusion of faces, meaning those who look like the nations but whose spirits resonate with his truth. Now, as you can see, this video topic is going to be what will your legacy be, or what will your story be, because you have to understand the narrative of the scriptures talk about how the Lord is raising up the tabernacle of David in these times. And those 144,000 men are right now creating a legacy, because according to biblical prophecy, America is going to be destroyed by thermonuclear missiles, and it's never ever going to be inhabited again. And so when the Lord actually, Yahushai that is, brings us into our promised land, the land of Israel, the 144,000 men are going to have some kind of a legacy back here in America. So right now, you have to consider, the scriptures say to put ye therefore on as the elect. So you have to consider what your legacy or what legacy you're leaving is going to be. I'm going to say it like that. So this is the book of Zephaniah. Let's get that real quick. 3 and 20.
Zephaniah 3 and 20. At that time will I bring you again, even in the time that I gather you, for I will make you a name and a praise.
Right? So when we start right there and you look up that word name, it says Shem. All right, yeah, but it says Shem, and it basically means name. All right, but a synonym when you also look it up, then it says fame or reputation. Okay, so keep those two words in mind. So keep reading.
For I will make you a name and a praise among all people of the earth. When I turn back your captivity before your eyes, saith the Lord.
Right, and that's a part of our hope. So now we want to jump over to the book of 2nd Maccabees, and we're going to pick up reading at the last few verses, because in the book of 2nd Maccabees you have to understand this is the time of the Grecian Empire. And so where we're picking up chapter 2nd Maccabees chapter 6 is when Ptolemy, one of the rulers that came after Alexander the Greek, Ptolemy made a decree in which it wasn't rightful or lawful at all to be an Israelite, and he said you have to actually take hold of the fashions of the Greek. Now this is Eleazar we're picking up, in which his story, and he's leaving behind a legacy as an example. Okay, so we leave behind an example, and basically he was being forced to eat swine, and of course swine's flesh is unlawful. Now an acquaintance came to Eleazar and said, look, it's okay, you can go ahead and just get a lawful meat and you can eat it and act as if you're eating that swine's flesh. So we're going to pick up with Eleazar's words after that was told to him. So go ahead.
2nd Maccabees 6 verse 7. Wherefore now, manfully changing this life, I will shew myself such an one as mine age requireth.
Right, so he's stepping up to the plate, and he says, as my age requireth, talking about the wisdom that he's gained. Keep going.
Verse 28, and leave a notable example to such as be young to die willingly and courageously for the honorable and holy laws.
Right, he said he's going to leave a notable example. Okay, something that's notable is worth mentioning. Keep going.
And when he had said these words, immediately he went to the torment.
You see that? Read that one more time.
And when he had said these words, immediately he went to the torment.
So he manned up. He manned up. All right, keep going.
Verse 29, they that led him changing the good, will they bear him a little before into hatred.
Right, so this acquaintance now all of a sudden thinks that Eleazar is going crazy, right? Because he's about to get tormented and Eleazar is saying all these things, his acquaintance, they're getting pissed off. Keep going.
Because the foresaid speeches proceeded as they thought from a desperate mind.
Right, they thought he was desperate. They thought he was going crazy. Keep going.
Verse 30, but when he was ready to die with stripes, he groaned and said, it is manifest unto the Lord that hath the holy knowledge, that whereas I might even be delivered from death, I now endure sore pains in body by being beaten.
Right, so he was ready to die. He was ready to die right there, all because when you really break down the story, it was all about Eleazar holding that faith. He believed in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, and he feared him more than he feared man. That's why it says in the book of Sirach, the 19th chapter, and I believe it's the 18th verse, it says, the fear of the Lord is a first step to being accepted of him. Because you hear about this truth, And you start to fear the Lord when you understand that the day is going to come that burneth as an oven. You fear the Lord, and then that creates faith. You go out there in the highways and byways. You keep the law to the best of your capabilities. You make your sit-downs, and you do your best to walk righteously. Okay? Keep going.
But in soul am well content to suffer these things, because I fear him.
Mm-hmm.
Verse,
See?
verse 31, and thus this man died, leaving his death for an example.
Right? So he died after all of that. He was like, F it, you know, I'm not eating that swine's flesh. I'm not acting as if I'm eating a swine's flesh. And he said he died, leaving an example. Go ahead.
Example of a noble courage.
Noble courage. Go ahead.
And a memorial of virtue.
A memorial of virtue. Okay? A memorial. Keep going.
Not only unto young men, but unto all his nation.
Not only to young men, but to all his nation. And we're a part of that nation. We are descendants of Yashar Allah, you see? So this story was also made through the Spirit for our sakes as well, so that we can see that and we can say, okay, this is how we ought to act, how we ought to be in these times. This is the mentality that we have to show forth in these times. We understand through the Spirit persecution is coming. It's right around the corner, you know? What kind of man are you going to be? Are you going to give up? Or are you going to step up to the plate? Do you have to die? You know, is that your lot? You know, pray for strength. So with that being said, I want to end off with this scripture right here. This is the book of Revelation, the 14th chapter. I'm going to read it. In the 13th verse, and it says, and I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, write, blessed are the dead which die in the Lord from henceforth. Yea, saith the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors, and their works do follow them. You see, our works do follow us. What do we read in the book of Zephaniah? The Lord is going to give us praise and fame. He's going to give us a name. Why? Because our works do follow us. All right? So I pray. You got something? Go ahead, bro.
This is Revelation, chapter 3, verse 11. It says, behold, I come quickly. It says, hold that fast which thou hadst, that no man take thy crown. It says, verse 12, him that overcometh will I make a pillar in the temple of my power, and he shall go no more out, and I will write upon him the name of my power, and the name of the city of my power, which is New Jerusalem, which cometh down out of heaven from my power, and I will write upon him my new name.
Yeah, you see? So that's a part of our hope, you know? And we got that new name, that's the truth. You see what I'm saying? And we have to hold that fast, which we have. What do we have? We have this wisdom, knowledge, understanding. We have clarity of the scriptures. We have the 100% truth of these scriptures through the Spirit and power of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. And we're hoping to be a part of that number, you see? So what manner of man ought you to be in these times, you see? Go ahead.
Daniel 12:1, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people.
Right, and these are the times that we're coming into very soon.
And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time.
Right, so how you going to act in those times? You got to think about that right now. What kind of legacy are you going to leave? Are you going to be a little bitch in these times? Right? That's a legacy you're going to have in the kingdom. You see? We don't want that. Keep going.
And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. Verse 2, and many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt.
You see? Keep going.
Verse 3, and they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever.
Right, but the point was at verse 2, it said, some shall rise up to everlasting life. And did not Yahushua come back to bring life that we may, I believe it's quoted, live it more abundantly? You see? And that's our hope. We're hoping for life. That's why the scriptures say that we have to lose our life now that we may gain it through Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. You see? So we're forgetting about everything in this world. That's also a part of our legacy. You know? Everything that brothers gave up, I personally wanted to go to the league. I know brothers that wanted to go to the NBA. I know some brothers that wanted to be, who knows, you know, probably actors in this world. We had things going on. But that's a part of our legacy. We let all that crap go. It's worthless. That's why the scriptures say we count all things but dung, that we may win and receive Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai.
Right. And just the flip side to that everlasting content, it's gonna be, you know, for the 2/3, the scoff, and, the gainsayers that came up against this truth.
Right.
When they come back, in their right mind, they're gonna understand, what position or what role that they played on the side.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not necessarily going. It's not the greatest role. You understand?
Right.
So like the brother was harping on, what lot do you want to be in?
Mm-hmm.
You understand? And at the end of the day, we understand that it's all written. The elect is the elect. But all in all, what are we striving for? What are we trying? What are we trying to do? What are we trying to become, man? What legacy are we trying to leave? It's one that is righteous, one that is ultimately pleasing unto the Lord. That's pleasing unto Him. That's so, because ultimately all these spiritual sacrifices that we're giving, as you can see right now, supper with the brothers, we want these to be a sweet savor unto the Lord. So He have mercy upon us when the judgment comes,
right.
and that He may exalt us in the time where He finds us to be those profitable servants, that did His will, that followed Him. And that we may sit with Him. Like, listen, that we may sit with Him, that we may be crowned, and that we may drink with Him.
Right.
That first drink, man, that's what we striving to do. That's what we striving for.
Right.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
But you got it, brother.
Right.
You got something to say, brother?
Yeah. Okay, just a few last words, and that's what makes this truth so beautiful. You know what I mean? The fact that you don't know, well, we know for a fact that we were called. We don't know if we're chosen. You know what I mean? Because that's why we have this hope within us. And with that being said, we pray that this was edifying, and we want to give all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Chadash. Once again, double honor to our elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect out there. Shalom.
Shalom.